Lady Builder.
Presented by Stillafrog.
You know what I can't stand? Besides, of course, the patronizing honeys, sweeties, be-a-dolls, because when you work in this world, that's pretty much the status quo. No, what I can't stand are the looks that say, "Are you sure you are who you say you are?" Or the ones that scream, "Yeah, we'll wait for the real boss to show up." I once had a kid, mind you, this is a yet-to-be completely formed human being, attend the initial consultation with his parents and say to me, "When's the builder getting here?" To which his mother swiftly and somewhat embarrassingly replied, "This is the builder, sweetie." Go back to the cave with your Neanderthal father, I wanted to say, you knuckle-dragging brat. But I digress. I chose this world. I chose this profession, and I have to simply grow a thicker skin. Easier said than done. One time, I rescind my digression for a moment. I went through a border crossing with my kids. We were coming back into the States from the Canadian side of Niagara Falls. Of course, I presented passport, license, the kids' birth certificates, notarized letter from their father assuring whomever it may concern that I was not kidnapping them, and all of the other requisite pieces of information needed to reclaim our American citizenship. The agent asked me what I did for a living. I said, "I'm a builder." He said, "Of what?" "Houses," I replied. "So you're like a contractor?" "No, I am a contractor," I said, trying not to sound too smart-ass about it, though I think I failed. He looked me up and down as though searching for, I have no idea, a tool belt, calloused hands, who knows. "What's a bird's mouth?" he grunted. "The cut in a rafter tail," I said, without missing a beat. He huffed, pretended to scrutinize my license for about 10 more minutes, and then finally let us pass. This was my life. If I had a tough time winning over Border Patrol and a 10-year-old, you can imagine the dating situation I was faced with. Most, when finding out I own a construction company, ran for the hills by way of, "Well, this was fun," followed by crickets. A couple of them even asked me if I was sure I wasn't a lesbian. I went to online dating after having gone through all of my friends' friends, my neighbor's cousin, my mother's manicurist brother's ex-brother-in-law. Yeah, it gave me a headache trying to figure that one out, too. Critical mistake number 1, the choice of a dating app username. In real life, my company name does not hint that it might be owned by a woman. I took the opposite approach when selecting my screen name on the dating site. Builder Chick. Should have thought that one through some more. I did meet a few guys intrigued by the idea of dating a woman who worked in what was typically thought to be a man's field, but the phrase, "I own the company," seemed to derail the deal, so to speak. What is it with men and women who are in positions of power? I get it that me Tarzan, you Jane mentality seems to still be ingrained somewhere within the human psyche, even in this modern world. But many may as well have been wearing an "I feel threatened by you" post-it on their forehead. I had all but given up. You know what? Body pillows weren't all that bad to snuggle up with. At least they didn't want to commandeer the remote. And who needed to go out to dinner? Uber Eats delivers. Sitting on my sofa, waiting for Grey's to start, I heard that familiar ding. Why bother, I thought. It was probably just another man I would expertly scare off within a day or two. "You're cute," the snippet of a message read. I obligatorily logged onto his profile page. Lo and behold, "You're cute too," I echoed his abbreviated sentiment. And then after a few minutes, a not-so-abbreviated message appeared in my inbox. He went into, not details about his life necessarily, but his hopes as far as love, dreams, the picture he saw one day, that front porch, rocking chair, growing old side by side, straight out of a country song kind of love. My heart melted, despite the undeniable cliché of it all. What the hell? I responded, far less eloquently, by typing, "That's a very nice dream. Would you maybe like to meet for drinks or something?" I'm a builder, not a poet. I dealt primarily in takeoffs and 2x4s. Happily, he looked beyond my lack of literary prowess and responded positively. "I would love to meet. I am intrigued by you." Okay, if he says so. We hammered out the details, no pun intended, and decided on a small restaurant around the corner Friday night. I wore a dress. For the previous dates, aka painful means of passing the time until I could go home and watch Jeopardy, I had dialed it up to all of nice jeans and a flouncy blouse thing. But for some reason, the dress just seemed to beckon with this one. He was seated in a dimly lit corner, a bouquet of flowers sitting in the middle of the table. When I got closer, I saw that cleverly strewn in with the flowers were a screwdriver, a tape measure, and a hammer. He smiled. My heart thumped an extra beat. It was incredibly sweet, thoughtful, just perfect. He then stood up and pulled out my chair for me. I was so unfamiliar with the gesture that my first instinct was to ready my hands, karate chop style. Who was this guy? And when was that tenuous little bubble of too good to be true going to burst? I was waiting. I was always waiting for it. He had ordered an appetizer. Was that okay? He nervously asked. He just figured I would probably be hungry from working all day and wouldn't want to wait forever for something to eat, even if it was just some calamari and artichokes French. I immediately softened at the slight shakiness of his voice as he explained all of this to me in one clumsy run-on sentence. Everything was amazing. I was flabbergasted. I was caught off guard. I was, as previously mentioned, waiting for the catch. But after appetizers, dinner, and conversation that flowed as easily as the Riesling, there was nothing. No underlying game of one-upmanship, no hesitance in discussing my work, no reservations at all. Was this for real? He asked me if I wanted to go for a moonlit stroll on the pier, somewhat chuckling at his use of the phrase moonlit stroll. Okay, so just call me a corny romantic, he smiled. I'll take corny romantic any day over some of the disasters I've endured, I laughingly replied. We walked, at first silently, hand in hand. His grasp was warm, strong, and self-assured. You can tell quite a lot by the way a man holds your hand. I don't know if you feel the same, he began, but I really think there's a connection here. Most dates, I can't wait to just get back into my car and decompress from the stress of it all on the ride home, but that's not the case now. No? I asked. No, my car is the last thing on my mind. He turned to me. The moon, in that corny, romantic way, illuminating our faces. We kissed. It was soft, slow. We lingered. I enjoyed the masculine silkiness of his lips. I never wanted to pull away. He put his hand on the back of my neck. I felt the heat of his incredible touch. I was hypnotized. I was, disbelievingly, falling in love, I think. We saw each other every day for an entire week. Every night as well. This wasn't me, and maybe that's why it felt so right. I wanted a break from me. I didn't want to be the boss or the anomalous lady builder. I wanted to just be a woman. That's exactly how he made me feel. In fact, I saved his text from the evening of our first date because whenever I looked at it, I got this goofy teenage grin on my face and it just felt so damn good. Thank you for tonight. Thank you for answering my initial message, and thank you for being absolutely perfect. I just hope you're real because this feels too good to be true. As if he could read my mind. Hey, babe, he called. And yes, we were already at the babe stage. I may be running a little late. I have a meeting. Can we instead just get together at your place later? We'd planned to meet after work back at the restaurant where we had our first date, our 1-week anniversary celebration. I know, but corny just seemed to be working for me lately. Sure, I'll see you back here then. Love you. Wait, did I just say that? Crap, why did I do that? What the hell is wrong with me? We were to the babe stage, not the I love you phase. I probably just destroyed this whole thing. I was actually happy, and then I had to go and... I love you too, he replied with a smile in his voice. And I was a goner. Just a quick get-to-know-you meeting with new clients, and then it was back to my house into the arms of the man who made me feel as though I had a true home for once. The woman had called last week. Natalia something or other. She had a pretty heavy accent. Russian, I think. She and her husband had just relocated and were living with his parents. Help, she joked. They were toying with the idea of building on a piece of land they absolutely adored. Admittedly, I had trouble concentrating, trying to imagine all of the delicious ways we would celebrate our anniversary. Okay, back to work, focus for just another half hour. Natalia, I assumed, a very tall, leggy blonde with kind eyes and apple-colored lips, entered my office. She had what I could quickly ascertain was a substantial stack of house designs printed from the internet. This could take a while. My heart sank. My husband will be right in, she explained, taking the seat across from me at the conference table. The glass door then began to swing open again. Hey, babe, a voice my heart instinctively knew called out. He walked in and immediately froze. Our eyes locked momentarily, and then he looked away. He looked at his wife. I calmly rose from my chair. Is there a problem? Natalia asked, puzzled. Ask your husband, I said as I walked out the door.